Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Katie Huff Ministries, and I am so excited. I have Jim Price from The Jim Price Show, and you can follow him at The Jim Price Show. And he is here to talk to us about his trip to Washington. And I want to make sure that you're going to hear it from Katie Huff Ministries, which is on Spotify and YouTube and Instagram and X, and you name it, we're on it. We want you to hear it because the truth will set you free.
Absolutely.
And we are at, setting yourself free. That's what it's all about. This ministry is all about setting yourself free from whatever's holding you back. So thank you, Jim. It's always a blessing and a pleasure to have you here. I'm so excited to hear how your trip to Washington, D.C. went and all the wonderful things that you have cleaved.
Well, thank you so much for having me on the show. It's always an honor to be here, and I do mean that from my heart. That it's so many times we forget to honor each other and what we do for each other, just being each other, right? So being you and being me is it's great. Yeah, this there was a lot of cycle going on between our last show and this one. We talked about my mushroom line that you have actually been a part of, and you and
Yeah.
your husband have been participating on, and are already on the auto ship. So you guys will be able to have the subscription coming to you every month. So that's been a great thing. And actually seen a lot of you my own benefits from my own mushrooms. So those are great qualifications that said, listen, guys, if you're wanting something that's a nutrient that gives your body what it needs and adapts itself to what your body's looking for, mushrooms have always been that answer. So we'll talk about that more. Silly Gnome, that's silly with a P, Pacilli or sillygnome.com. So yeah, the idea when we were together last, we were having the election, and we had the things coming up, and twist of fate, I was able to get a press pass for the inauguration, which would have meant I would be up on the bleachers, up on the scaffolding up there, right up there with Trump, just about 12, 15 feet away, being able to video live stream through Verizon's connection that they were going to give us, especially on the backside, so that we'd have our own source to stream everything out live. So I was really looking forward to that. Went ahead and had some folks donate an airfare and a hotel, so I was able to attend, and very honored by that situation, guys. And I will tell you, I having known what I have lived through in my life, which it would take a lifetime to explain to you the things that I have been through, from the childhood things, the being, the different things I've been through, and to say that, I'm 53. And I also know that I've been in traffic situations, I've been in drug situations, overdoses. I've seen things that people don't understand, and yet I was actually honored and been able to have the life that in America, but on this earth, that I was able to have a press pass that would put me within 10 to 12 feet of really the most powerful person on earth right now, as we can see through tariffs and other demands that our country is putting on other countries for them to step up, take the trash out, and be a part of the family. I think that that's been an awesome thing. But I will tell you, as an honor, being honored by that, by God and others, that they were able to lift me up and put me in that situation, it's nothing short of a miracle. Um, I will tell you, I have lived through things, and I'm not a perfect individual. I didn't walk on water to get to the studio. But I will tell you guys, if you actually think of yourself in the Daniel point of view of it, and the idea that you can face those horrific accusations of sexual misconduct, of stealing, of lying, of cheating, and yet still come out on the other side where people honor you and say that you are a person above reproach, the people that believe in those things, and that we believe that you're the person that we want to have a press pass. I know it sounds really weird, that causation correlation between what God did for Daniel and what I went through.
Right.
But I will tell you guys, sometimes we run past the miracles because we're too busy worrying about the outcome.
Mm.
And we want our vision of what we think the gods, what we want for our life. Now Jim Price is going to have this and that. I'm putting my imagination together. I got my vision board going, and then God goes, hey, here's what you got. This is what I want you to have.
Yeah.
I will tell you, from a guy who walks through the door of faith all the time, even in doing this show, every month I wait for the donations to come in to be able to pay the mortgage, to be able to pay the electric, to be able to pay those things. And I live that faith. But I will tell you guys, if we actually start living more life by faith in that real way, then
Mhm.
you'll find that those blessings are there. But we rush so far. Like I said earlier, we want to see the miracle our way.
Mhm.
In reality, the miracles come to us in a way that benefits us the most, which is what our Creator gave to us, right? And I,
Right.
I want to use that word Creator because I don't think that I think we've washed out that word. I think we forgot what we understand as our source and our God and our Creator, too many times we're like, God did this and Jesus did that. Well, these seem like guys in the other room. Sounds like a
Right.
guy, waits tables for you and brought you fresh water. Are your creator who understands you because you have been made in that image, you should be in awe to almost even think that you could draw your next breath,
Mm,
that you were given this opportunity. And what are you doing with those opportunities? So if I go back to the check boxes of my life to say, well, what, Jim, can you do this? Can you do that? Could you do this? What about this? Can you do this? Can you do that? There's so many things that I would say that I have all these things that were the reasons I shouldn't have been invited on stage during the inauguration with the most powerful man on earth.
right. That's
And
great.
that's right there is a miracle in itself, but we all miss that, right? Because we're all too worried about, oh, get your press pass, you got to get turned in, you got to do this, you got to do that. Well, my press passes went in like butter, but I'm also a felon. So how is that possible? How is it possible that the Secret Service looked at what my background was, even though I used to have an above top secret security clearance at the Department of Defense? I was a guy who understood things and did things. Not that I ever did bad things. I did security design and keeping people safe. And to know that I went from that, to losing all my social groups, losing my reputation, and being told I was a horrible man for things I had never done. But then to be vindicated that I could be standing on stage within 10 to 12 feet of a man who's going to rule the free world.
Right.
I got to say, hey, that's a pretty big moment for everybody to step back and say, thank you, Lord. Thank you for giving me that moment. But
Amen.
my greatest responsibility though was more for you guys, was for the world around us. To think about what I could do for you guys. Could I bring you through this simple little piece of plastic, metal, silica, crystallization, crystal computer ones and zeros thing? I wanted to be able to just stand there like this, and this beat up old phone of mine. I wanted to do this, and I wanted to record so that you guys could go to the Jim Price show and see what I was seeing in real time in a way that wasn't edited, wasn't tinkered with, wasn't modified the color so Trump's face was more orange or more yellow or more white or more this. And I will tell you guys, I can do this. I can't, I don't have my, oh yeah, I do have my camera up here. And I want you to show you something. This is how easy they can change the coloration of something. This is how I can change and how I look. And I'm doing this so slightly with just a computer right now. And I'm showing that I can change the hue and the color, and I can change how I look. And that's how easy it is to manipulate how Trump looks so that he doesn't look his best.
Mm,
And the sad part of it is it's simply just a little bit of a modulation in a slide bar. And yet we see that they continuously do that to Trump to humiliate him. Why? Well, because those people who don't have the barometer of understanding how with the dignity of life and the sanctity of life, they don't understand when they are being a bully, when they are picking on, when they are gaslighting, when they are manipulating, when they are lying about someone else. They think that they're doing the world a service by putting all the things that it lives in their heart on somebody else, deflecting and redirecting away from them to look at somebody else. And when they go after Trump in that orange face, or they see the videos and they're doing that because they want to show you their heart.
amen.
Person who does the things that makes Trump's face really washed out or really orange, or his hair one color or the other color. I can tell you as a person who sits there and works on this stuff on my show so I can have a more balanced color so it's not distracting to you. I'm doing that because I'm trying to give you the best information, and I'm trying to keep me from not looking odd and looking weird so you're looking at my weird face. I'm trying to bring you great information. So what they don't want you to see is they want you to see his orange face. They don't want you to hear the message.
Right.
You be distracted by the tiling out and all the crappy audio and all that. They want you to be they tied up with that instead of listening to the message.
Mm, so
So I
true.
want sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you on that, but it just you
Oh,
guys need to be
it's so true.
empowered by that. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying it's so true. Agreeing with you. And yeah, they're always manipulating because they're not happy with where they're at probably and in their heart, out of the mouth the heart speaks is a scripture.
Yeah. So I show you in the show all the time. I know I think I've said it on your show quite a few times. You've had me on it a lot, and I thank you for that. You've been really a great supporter of my show, and it's so awesome. But I always say your future is a reflection of your heart now. Make sure your heart's in the right place every single day, being better than the day before. So every day being better than the day before, meaning that your heart needs to be in the right way, in the right place. And you need to know when your ego is in there, and when your ego tells you, I wasn't wrong and I was doing it right and I am. Well, that's all selfish sin nature.
Yep. Yep.
And so we turn that around and we use it the other way. We find ourselves in a better place. And I wish that we would think of this whole thing that way, that we could be better just because we want to be better, because our heart is better. And if you want your future to be less government, if you want your future to be freedom and liberty, if you want your future to be a home, God-centered father-driven home, if you want that, then harbor that in your heart now. Because it won't just create itself and you're like, oh, look, I've got a family and everything's great. Oh, man. It doesn't work that way.
No,
I wish it did. I wish it was like, oh, I just want that. Oh, Amazon will bring it to me on Thursday.
exactly.
That's not how that works. We have to be thinking of it. We have to harbor it here. We have to ask for it. We have to be vigilant for it. We have to resonate the words out of our mouth and then request those things, and then they will come to you. But be prepared for them now. Prepare for it's like he says he goes and prepares a place for you. Well, how come you haven't prepared a place for your future now? Why have
Exactly.
you not done the same thing? So,
Well, none of us know the day or time, right?
right. So
Yeah.
why are we acting like we got all time? We all act like we got days, weeks, months, years, decades,
Right.
centuries.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You need to be on your game for when the moment comes.
absolutely.
So being prepared. And I love how you talk about ego because I always say that that's edging God out is what it stands for, is edging God out, not letting him lead, but you trying to take the wheel.
Yeah. Well, and think about that. I mean, if I wanted to give over to something and I was like, you know what? I'm going to have to live life by faith. Well, lean not on your own understanding, right?
Right. Exactly.
Don't lean in on your own understanding. Don't be that. It's like, hey, so to me, that's why you always have to ask that next question, or a lot of people will use it in the corporate industry and say, well, what's your why?
Exactly.
Your why. Well, why are we doing this? Why is this way? Well, again, it's superstition and tradition. Superstition is, well, tradition is we always do it that way. And superstition is don't ask why.
Mm. So,
Well, why do we do something? Well, why do we tell all these children and all these generations that the three wise men showed up at the manger where Jesus was born when we know that he didn't show up for 6 to 7 years, but every year at church we say that. And I bring that up as a point that we need to be more obvious with each other, and we need to ask those questions because too many times it's like that. What's that game where you start with 10 kids in a circle and you say telephone to the first one, but by the time it gets around, it's red rhinoceros with a pink hat?
yeah, pretty much.
Just 10 people later and it's not telephone. Like, how do you mess up telephone in 10 people to a red rhinoceros with a pink hat? That doesn't make any sense.
Mm.
But so much of what we have inferred, what we think we know, what we infer into things, like saying don't take God's name in vain, well, that means actually never stop using it. It doesn't say never use it. And yet the wives' tales was telling us that we should never use God's name unless we were speaking to him directly. Well, that doesn't make much sense. Why would we not want to talk to him directly? Why would we not seek out his name always,
Right.
in everything we do? And I get it that, and then with the other thing is the speech suppression part, which I don't understand where that came in the Bible. Nowhere it said, make sure you don't use certain words. Again, we've got to change how we think of things, but I don't mean to go off on too much of that part of it, but I have been working on me for so long and so hard, and I
Mm.
still think I'm only about 1% of the way there. And I know a lot of people who are doing nothing to make for, self-improvement, health improvement, mental acuity, different things like that. They're doing nothing and they're talking about how they're nailing life in general. And I'm over here going, gosh, man, I don't even think I'm on my first step in the right direction. I'm working on me real hard.
Mm.
And I'm 53 and there's people out there they're perfect already. So congratulations to those guys. Uh,
And
but
in the eyes of who? The beholder or who, right?
Well, that's the sin nature of it. Well, I'm fine. You're wrong. Oh, why would you say that I'm not the problem. You're the problem. Again, but who teaches that, right? Isn't the sin nature, the selfish nature, isn't that, the devil inside of us, or the opposite, the yin and the yang, and the black and the white, the good and the bad, the ugly and the pretty.
Right.
We need to define that, right, we have to have that definition of where did that come from? Why is it okay for us to think that we are just fine? Now, when we know the great deceiver is a part of that, we have to be mindful, right?
Yes, yes, constant and never-ending improvement. We never are going to, we won't be perfect until we arrive in his arms, and we don't know the day or the time, but he was
Yeah.
the only perfect man that walked this earth.
Oh,
Jesus,
absolutely. Absolutely. Now, did you get a chance to watch the inauguration yourself?
I did. I did. I spent the whole day, and in fact, I mean, just the patriotism. I loved his speech. It was like, yay, God, we're back on track and
Yeah.
we're back to saving our country and protecting our borders and just even they had obviously people singing. I mean, Carrie Underwood nailed it.
Yeah.
Um,
Even a cappella in the rotunda where she was supposed to have orchestra backup.
right.
Big
Yeah.
deal.
So it
Yeah.
was amazing. I was just like, this is a historical day in my life and I'm going to honor it. And I sat on the couch and watched the whole thing. It was amazing in my mind.
Well, and that's one of the reasons I even wanted to go to begin with was, hey, I have talked about, supporting this guy, making sure that this agenda, this America first, the freedoms and liberty effect, the we stand with all patriots.
Mhm.
I said, guys, if we should be there. And I had planned on, taking a few people and this and that, and just money was just not there. It was really weird. Like I didn't have the money to be able to go, but then all of a sudden here comes this press pass, and then I had enough money for I had the hotel and the plane ticket for me, but I obviously wanted other people to go, and it wasn't able to do that. And again, the situation worked out the way it was supposed to. I didn't plan on it, but I thought definitely a need to be there to support him in the right way, and I think it was great.
Oh, and it's such a blessing that you were able to be there because, I mean, I was even sitting on the couch watching it. I was just like, wow, this is amazing. And I sure wish I could be there.
Yeah,
And it was just like, I wonder I'm sure the security was tighter than a drum. Obviously, they moved it from outside inside, which is I was grateful for because it was just like, we got to continue to pray a shield of protection around him
yeah.
because of what happened prior to the election. And, he's a target every day of his life.
Well, you think about, and I always refer to this. I don't think of I don't know how much direct planning my United States government may have had in Pearl Harbor or 9/11 or other things like that, but I do know that they let things happen to create the need for them.
Mhm.
And I, look at the idea that, yes, I think the government may have been allowing certain things. You look at the Pennsylvania shooter and how he was allowed to climb up on the roof and he was allowed to do. I mean, I was in DC. You were talking about security. There
Right.
was an entire area where Uber could not go into DC. Like you had to walk. I had to walk 2 miles just to get to the event center, the Capital One event center. I had to walk 2 miles because couldn't get any closer. They wouldn't let him drive in. So there was a lot of things at play here in this whole situation, and the security of things. Yes, it was a madhouse, but I was glad I was there. But it was not user friendly. DC itself, I called it the island. I always think of it like an island because you got to cross a lot of bridges to get there.
Right.
And I will tell you, nobody knew what was going on. I would tell you that felt like there was a lot of confusion on the security details, and they were very limited information. And obviously, a lot of that was for security, quote unquote, reasons. But at the same time, the scaling fence, the shutting roads off in the middle of the day, opening them back up, it was a mess on that whole thing. It was unfortunate, but I'm glad I was there to see it. It was freezing cold.
Oh,
Um,
I'm sure the humidity there will kick your bum.
Yeah. Well, it was only at 14 degrees, or the high was on Monday, I think it was. So
Right.
I even went over to the gulag there where the J6ers were being held on that Monday
Mm.
because I was going to be there I didn't know when they were going to be released, when he would be signing those things. And so I'd gone over to the gulag for that. And then to find out that some of them had been released a week prior because, see, the, the warden has the ability to let them go whenever they want. There's
Mm.
no stigma that says you have to serve out every second of that. There are other people can shorten up your sentence anytime they want. Not just the judge, but there are people within the jailing system that can get you out. If they want you to get out, there's check boxes for them to get you out of there. So I was hoping that maybe they would be able to come out on that day, but it looks like a lot of them didn't get released for another week, which is actually a huge breakdown in our system.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. That was not right by any means.
Yeah, and I've
Nor
had those guys on my show. I've really enjoyed talking to those. A lot of them are very, very hopeful and very positive. It's good to hear from them when they're on the show.
I have no doubt. And
Yep.
that's why we need to be, joining the Jim Price show
There
and
you
watch
go.
it, because you'll learn so much from all the different people that you have on your show. So that's awesome.
Thank you.
What a blessing for all of us that you continue to do that.
Well, don't you have an event coming up here soon? Don't you have that at your women's retreat?
I do. May 4th through the 7th in Paradise, Montana. And it is amazing. And people can come by going to
Okay.
katy-huff.com/events. And I need the women to fill out that little card. And they will then get a call from me, because we have 3 different tiers that the women get to pick and choose in lodging options.
Wow.
And the food's incredible. And last year, oh my gosh, we did a it was a trust walk and we did a high wire event, and it was definitely a stretch. We were like 50 feet in the air, hooked in with all kinds of safety material and things like that, walking across a tight wire. I never thought I'd be a circus girl, but I was that day. And I was literally walking across those tight wires, and I was saying a lot of prayers on the way up that pole. I was saying, I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength, and Jesus take the wheel, because it was intense, but it was a great time. And the women that did it, it was like checking the box of something that we've never done and an accomplishment of overcoming fear. So it was amazing. And we'll be doing something similar, maybe not the tight wire, because it takes a lot of strength, and some of the women weren't able to do it because of the lack of their strength. But I mean, it was amazing. And we've also floated the river, and we've gone to the Bison Refuge. I mean, it's just an incredible 4 days from May 4th to May 7th. So it's going to be great.
Yeah. They hey, I'll tell you, you want me to give you the key to construction. When we train construction workers, as men, we have one of the most fail-proof ways to teach men how to overcome their fear of heights. Do you guys want to hear the lesson for this? This is how men treat now, guys, women. I want you to listen to this, because this is how men truly treat each other in the field as we train each other for fear, to overcome fear and to enable a guy to be better. So do you want to hear the answer, how we treat each other? This is the gentleness in which we do it. So you're afraid of heights, you're afraid of, well, it's not the fall that kills you, it's the sudden stop at the bottom, so don't worry about it. That's how we train men to overcome their fear of falling. And we just tell them, get up on the wall. Let's go. We ain't got time for it. And I tell you, honestly, I know that sounds horrific, and I know that sounds very insensitive. It is. But at the same time, there is a certain amount of moxie that it comes along with it. Like, well, come on, man, don't worry about it. Just jump on the wall. Don't worry about it. Here, hold on to this. Grab that. And you get the guy outside of his mind and get him outside of worrying about what is going on with gravity.
Yeah.
And a lot of times they do overcome it. Now, I will tell you, I've been in situations, and it's never the height. It is always that, am I in a safe place?
Mm.
Now, I don't mind being on the edge of something or looking through glass or whatever. That never bothered me. But anyway, I just wanted to give away a little secret on how men treat each other out on the job site, that if don't worry
Yeah.
about the fall. It's just the sudden stop at the bottom that'll kill you. So.
Which is true. And yeah, women usually don't do that. We're usually saying, you can do it, come on. And we're cheerleaders. We're not
Now
like,
we can say,
"Ah."
hey, you big girl, you big. We're not using positive affirmations. We're describing their lesserness of them. We're the lesser version.
Exactly.
But that's what men do. But you know what? It works. I will tell you that men have been able to do that and conquer a lot of things in life because we challenge each other.
Mm.
And I think that we forget how that works for men. But anyway, I was a little humor there. Now that's coming up. That's coming up from when? When are you going to come up on that? That's coming up
4th through the 7th.
May.
So
All right.
3 months. 3 months. So
That's not very long. That's only about like it's not
3 months.
eight,
Yeah.
9 weeks away. So
Yeah. So
thank
it's always amazing. Women come in, they rest, they're tired, they're looking, searching, wanting to overcome things that are holding them back from doing, and having all that they were created to be. And this year it's Thrive in 2025 is the theme. And we'll have, a number of different speakers, but there's the hot springs gym there are just like glorious. It's almost like the picture in my background is this isn't where we'll be, but it's close to where this is. And it's just very, very tranquil. You're in nature. There's all kinds of wildlife that we can see, and obviously go to the bison refuge. That's pretty cool. I mean, it's just people are just like one of the gals that came from like Alabama. She was just like, it's so quiet here. Oh my gosh, it's so quiet here. And she didn't know what to expect. It was her first time. She goes, this is absolutely gorgeous. And I'm like, you're right. It is. It's God's country for sure. It's
Wow.
beautiful.
That's
Yeah.
awesome to know that you're able to do all that. That is so good. Well, and again, it's sometimes let me ask you a question. Let's go completely off of all the stuff we're talking about here for a second.
Okay.
You think that we have gone too far with technology and the building and all the other stuff that we no longer understand what a simple campfire or a water rapids or just listening to the trees. Have we gone too far away from what God gave us and all this trappings? I
I
mean, is
would
that
say,
something you're
yeah.
feeling? Are you feeling that way too? I mean, I don't think it's an age thing. I think it's a more of a revelation thing to me.
I I would say in Montana, we really, really love and respect those types of outings. We have a fire pit in our backyard. We have a lake in our backyard. The outdoors, just God's tapestry is so beautiful here in Montana. And I mean, our population has grown by 200,000 since the movie Yellowstone. We
Yeah.
were almost at 1 million, and there's more and more people moving in from the East Coast and South and California, Texas, you name it. They're coming to Montana, and they usually aren't here in the winter though. So they're like these, summer
Well,
days, and that wouldn't want to handle the temperatures because they can get below zero. My sister got married on December 29th in, I think it was like 1978, and it was 49 below zero.
wow.
So that's a great way to make sure people don't move here. But the
Yeah, okay.
campfires and the taking a hike and looking at, the the life of the animals and all of the wildlife that we have, it's incredible.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you said that. You was like, okay, well, but did you know, and this is something the reason I asked the campfire thing, and let me give you a little science behind why I said the campfire and feeling that, I want you to feel that, like, is this something we desire? Two things. One, that in a campfire, when the energy from the sun is absorbed by the plant, it goes into the plant and the plant absorbs it and stores the energy of the sun.
Mm,
And I'm saying plant as in fruits, vegetables, trees, grass. But when you oxidate it or you bring oxygen into it and you burn it, you're releasing the sun's energy back.
mm,
And that infrared, the color spectrum that you see in the flames, the yellows, the blues, the orange, if you really look at a flame and you catch the different stages of the flame and how it burns through product, whether it's a natural gas, whether it's gasoline, whether it's, your grass or a limb or a tree, whatever it is, that's a release of the energy back to you.
mm.
But here, when you said, well, you said it was like 48 below zero or something like that, and
Oh,
so your sister's wedding. Well, here's the one thing that God has done for us as well. In the winter months, we have a lot less sun. But the
right.
sun gives us vitamin D3 and K2 and all a bunch of other stuff that goes in. But actually, the other part of this that we're all forgetting is the radiation, the light spectrum that you're getting from the sun, even during the winter months, absorbs into the tissue and goes deep inside and starts vibrating the cells and cleans them out, gets the mitochondria going, does all kinds of neat, cool stuff to clean your body out, gives it energy.
Right.
But when you get cold, let's say you go out in the 40-degree weather and your face gets cold or your hands get cold or your arms get cold, your body inside of every cell has a generator that creates infrared within the cell.
Mm,
It starts heating you up at the cellular level from inside and brings that warmth out of you. And it's actually part of the cleaning process as well.
mm,
So extreme colds and the sun, and just getting back to nature does all these things to heal our body. But yet we know these computers and this
Mm.
infra, or the frequency of things and the manipulation of our technologies, we know it damages us.
Right.
Your retreat, why people feel so good when they go there, is because it's where they should be.
So
I mean,
true.
I get that we have to make things and do things, but can't we get back to making things and doing things just that bring joy to us and bring us a survival and sense of purpose?
Absolutely. That's where we all should be wanting to walk in that. So it's a good thing to discuss because some people are just pushing a button and going to work and routine and coming back and really not pausing, praying, and waiting till they have peace to move forward on whatever it is that they're doing. And they're just going like robots.
Yeah.
It's really sad.
And imagine that. And it's how we just get back to our God, our creator, and
Yeah.
go back into those simple things. And that's kind of what, like, even what, let's tie this back into the mushrooms. Let's tie this back into your retreat. Let's
Yeah.
tie this back into the simplest parts of what we are. And I always go back, keep it simple, stupid. Well, people are like, I don't like the word stupid. Well, maybe you look up the definition, you'd like it more often. There's words that we have called politically incorrect, but in reality, they're very essential for the part. And that's one of the things they take away your power, right?
Yeah.
When they can tell you not to use words, now they're controlling your mind, and you're saying, well, you're not in control of my mind, I am, but I don't say those words out of courtesy. Okay, isn't that mind control, that you're being courteous? I mean, if it's in your mind and you want to speak it and you're being withheld, that's called mind control. That is you being controlled by someone else. So why would you let them do that? Uh,
Right.
we have to do things differently in the way that we give ourselves the opportunity to be amazing. And I don't know why we don't. I don't get it. There's so much that we could do better. But
Yeah.
anyway, sorry about that.
Well, every day we get to start over and you hope and pray that people are looking at it that way
Yeah.
is, because yesterday's gone, but you have an opportunity to make a difference in people's lives today and your own and to just you know, let go of the control.
I made a statement. This has always been very cruel for a lot of people, and I don't know why. But I'm like, you can save every dime you've ever made, never eat chocolate, never go on vacation, never go skydiving, never do anything. Just go to work, come back, go to church, come back, never live, and slip in your bathtub, hit your head, and die. And you deserved an unclimactic death by yourself because you'd never lived life to begin with.
Mm,
I wish that people would understand that you can slip, and I could right now blow an aneurysm, fall over here, I'm gone. And all of the things I planned to do, all the things I thought I would do are over, and there's no coming back. And yet everybody keeps pushing that, well, I'll donate. Well, I don't need to donate to that, or I don't need to do this. Well, I don't need to help Kathy with her thing, or, well, I'm not going to go to her event, so I don't need to worry about spending any money on it. Well, how about you sponsor the food? How about you sponsor the location that that way she can go and do all these other amazing things, right? She can not, if she doesn't pay for the food, well, then maybe she can bring in some entertainment, or maybe she can pay for somebody who didn't have the airfare, but had I mean, think about what you can do just for someone you've never met only because you did something because you expected nothing in return.
right.
If you did that, if we all did that for each other, we expected nothing in return, what would this world be?
Right.
8 billion people, I think I've said this on your show, 8 billion people get up tomorrow and do 10% more for the world around them, just that little extra, that 10%. How great would this world be today?
It would be
How great would
incredible.
it be instantly if we
Yeah.
stop being shitty to each other? And I don't think shitty is a bad word, but some people do. But if we just quit treating each other like crap, why don't we do that for a day?
Just a dose of kindness goes a long way.
Yeah.
And I will tell you, there has been scholarship programs for women
Good. Good.
and for people that have donated, which is awesome because there's a lot of women that continue to say, I want to come, but we all know that everything has gone up. Every price of everything has gone up. And I have no control over the pricing. It's the lodge and it's the conference center. I mean, and they're there to help us and provide a place, but they too have to be paid.
Right.
And so it's an incredible opportunity. And yeah, I've been very grateful that
Everybody, though, everybody gets to be involved. Let's see, somebody that may not ever speak one word at the event or may not even go could still send you 500 or 1,000, $20,000 and just say, here's 20 grand. I don't know what you're going to spend it on because I don't care. You do, because this is what I think I think I should. I thought it was 10,000, but I put 20,000 up to make sure you had enough. Why can't people think in that way? And even the Jim Price show or Katie's show is like, she's got a ministry. She's trying to do certain things, reaching out to certain people. I'm trying to get out the certain information to certain people. Now, I'm not selling, Ozempic or Lipitor or any of these other crap things that are going to kill you and make you die. I'm giving you good information. So that means that there should be an automatic willing to give.
Right.
What we've been so used to is the almost abusive taking of, right? Being abused by the commercials, being abused by the pharmaceuticals, being abused by the government. What if you started giving more?
Mm,
What would the world look like? If you're used to the taking model, which is the government,
right.
what if you did that something different? What if you did it in a way that you never met the person, never got credit for it whatsoever?
Well, I would think it would be just an incredible, joyful moment for the individual themselves, and they don't have to know. I mean, that's the beauty of having like a secret Santa, basically, or a secret retreat,
Yeah.
and not knowing how they could get there, but they're there, which is
Right.
amazing. I mean, being generous is such a blessing to the individual, in my opinion. I love being generous and helping people. And
Yeah.
that's why I continue to do these women's retreats twice a year in Montana, because I want people to experience it and I want them to be set free from whatever is holding them back, because God has a plan and a purpose for their life. And we don't get a second try. There are no redos.
Yeah. When two or more there are two or more together, I am there with you. Now
Mm,
think about that. You're bringing two or more together purposely. And if everybody brings their energy into each other and stands close to each other and near each other, physicists have proved this. And you can say, well, I don't believe in weirdo stuff. I'm not into voodoo. Well, they've been able to test the electrical field around your body, and 3 feet in front and around the sides of you is your energy. And they
mm,
know psychologically if someone stands more than 6 feet away from you that you don't trust them. Why do you think they put the squares or the circles 6 feet away from each other? So you wouldn't trust the person near you, so you would think they've got something and your mind would question it. They knew the psychology of it. But God knew if you came together, your power would be greater than those evils and you would overcome those. And they knew that they needed to keep you separated so you couldn't overcome them. So
right.
tell me, what should you do when you go to Katie's retreat? You should come together.
Mm,
Every person in that room should have everybody else's phone number, everybody else's Facebook, everybody else's Twitter, everybody else's Instagram. Everybody should be on everybody's everything. Everybody on my show should be friends with everybody on Katie's show, and everybody on Katie's show should be everybody friends with everybody on my show. Why? Because two or more are together, I am there with you. So
mm,
tell me why you shouldn't be together, should not be bonding together with people at the same yoke,
right.
same mission, the same push forward, this movement together. Do you want to be yoked together like the oxen, yoked together, bound together? Then
Right.
be there.
Yeah. Absolutely. When you think about 2020, it was all planned, obviously, and it was a godless situation because they didn't want us to be clinging to each other or close to each other. And it was like people staying in their homes and not going to work, and even paying the people $500 that were employees so they'd stay home on the couch.
Right.
And that's exactly what they did.
It showed the human weakness, which is laziness, which is the first sin that I think that creates a selfish sin nature of looking inwards, is the laziness. Our
Mm,
mind is built to be efficient. Our mind is built to build things so that's why we built we have the will and the knife and the gun and the plane because it makes the trip shorter and faster and quicker and easier. And we're always doing that, right? We need to be thankful that we have a God that says, listen, but don't be lazy. Your
mm,
lymph node glands in your body only move through motion. Your lymph node glands only get rid of the toxic sewage released from different parts of your body with motion. If you're sitting around, your lymph nodes are not draining, and you're going to get lymphedema and other types of lymphatic cancers. Remember these things? But God gave you a lymphatic process that makes you move. So do jumping jacks. Jumping jacks are literally a lymphatic drain process, slapping the hands at the top, slapping your hands on your legs. You're bouncing and banging against your lymph nodes to get them to pump. But
Right.
God said, go do something so
Right.
you don't die of sickness. But
Amen.
what do? We sit around and we sit around and we sit around. And then here comes COVID. Don't ever leave your house again. Just sit on your couch and watch internet. You'll be just fine. Deliver your food. Don't go to work. You're not essential. And then we wonder why more people killed themselves in April than do in a standard calendar year of 2021. April 2021, more people committed suicide because we took away hope. Took away a sense of purpose. And
Mhm.
more people in America killed themselves in 1 month than they do a regular calendar year that year. And
Right.
no one wants to take fault for that. But you
No,
took away their reasoning. You took away their purpose. You took away a lot of people wanted to go out and do things. They wanted to be a part of things. Since they were so close to the edge, that was enough just to push them over, to put their gun to the head, and that was enough. So
so,
think about what we should do for each other and how we should think about this differently, right?
right.
Everything in COVID should have taught us an amazing life lesson about coming together at Thanksgiving, coming together for this retreat, coming together for this show. Well, I don't have time. Well, I got a hangnail. Well, I'm moody. Well, I got menopause. Well, well, if you're looking for an excuse, any old excuse will do.
That's right.
So
That's right.
don't make one up. Don't live in that lazy cycle. Don't live in that world. Be the difference.
Yeah.
Go out there and just live it.
And to your point, Jesus sent his disciples out two by two, so they weren't alone. They were together. And I
Yeah,
mean, so why would we not want to be two by two or more? I mean, there was 12 of them, and
right.
they were together all the time. And I even say that when I'm training people how to do my day business, and that is to go out two by two and have someone be a field trainer, train the field so they can have something as well as you do.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Imagine that's and again, it's again, come together, come together, come together. Well, I don't like people. Well, who told you that?
that's a
Told you
lot.
that because that's not what Jesus said. Jesus said, "Well, only like the people you like." Jesus showed up at the well, was talking to a prostitute. Jesus rolled the tables for what do you
Tax,
the tax or at the Pharisees and the
yeah,
temple. He
yeah, the
rolled
people.
tables, right? Well, isn't he on the wrong side of Christianity at that point? Is he the wrong side of history? Like you're rolling these are our prophets, these are our leaders, these are our ohs. But Jesus went in and said, no, not today. I think he gave us a lot of great examples for that.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, that's why when people say, "Oh, well, you're not supposed to get angry," there's a righteous anger that is righteous and for the right reasons, and that's when he went in the temple and turned over those taxpayer tables, taking
Yeah.
all the money. So
Well,
that's
and that's how simple it is, right? That's how simple it is. Righteous indignation. They did something purposely wrong to you, and it is your job to fix it. Why do we not practice righteous indignation? Are we not told by God when you are purposely done someone has purposely done you wrong that you are to have them make it right? To turn the other cheek is for them to turn their cheek in the same way that your cheek was struck. That they are giving over to you the ability to do to them what they did to you. See,
mm,
this is where we get all this wrong. This is inference. We infer into the Bible.
right,
Don't talk to God. Don't say God's name. We tell, oh, turn the other cheek means we get hit again. What the, no. What are you talking about? Oh yeah, Jesus told me to go ahead and let you punch me one more time. Make it sting this time if you got a little heat.
right,
That sound like Jesus?
not at all.
He rolled the tables. He went on top of the mountain to be tempted by all the kingdoms on earth, and if he could, the only reason Satan could do that is if he owned those kingdoms. So
Right,
this is Satan's realm, isn't it? Isn't it where he roams? The most beautiful angel God ever created.
right.
And do you think he stopped being beautiful the day he turned his back on God? I
Mhm.
think that's how that works. If
No,
you sin today, Kate, do you get uglier or prettier? You don't change how you look.
no,
Just because you sin, just because this angel sinned doesn't mean that they're no longer the most beautiful thing that God ever created. And I
that-
wonder why we get so confused about who the deceiver is.
yeah. Well, people are accepting of things that aren't necessary, obviously aren't necessarily the truth. The truth will set you free, and they're
Right.
not free. They're in bondage because of that.
Right.
It's not,
Absolutely. I mean, think about that in its simple process. I just wish that we would run to God in a way and run to the source of our creation and quit looking for these somehow there's this next word that somehow is created inside of us. And why don't we just enjoy what God gave us? God gave you the opportunity to walk out in your backyard or your front porch or walk to a park, and you can just sit there. And if you stop long enough, you can watch a snail walk by.
Mm.
You can watch a bird eat. You can watch a bird scavenge for things out of the ground, out of a tree, under some brush. You can watch the birds fly by. You can watch dogs. You can watch all kinds of things that God created for you to observe. And yet, have you taken that time? Have you stopped to smell the roses ever in your damn life?
Yeah.
Ever? Ever? I mean, seriously. And the word damn is very necessary there. Have you ever done anything with this damn life you have? We're not getting out of this. Nobody gets out alive, guys. Nobody's getting out of here. What are you doing? What are you waiting for? I don't know if I'm trying to inspire here or make people freak out about what they haven't done, but I enjoy the time that I have that I can go out in my backyard and I can see these mushrooms coming up in my yard that I've never seen before in my entire life, that they're coming up on my property.
That's awesome. That's
Daisy. Oh, poor dog.
yeah. You
Dog
def
was,
you definitely need to stop and smell the roses, that's for sure, because Jesus gave us 7 days, 6 days to work, 1 day to rest, and we do need to rest. And when you rest, that means you get to take in nature or wherever you are. I mean, that's why I stay where I'm at in my lane is I love the mountains, I love skiing, I love outdoors, I love just sitting around a campfire. I love all that.
yeah.
So
But but those are things because it actually gets you're actually healing your body. See,
exactly.
that's where it's like this the fire burning and natural, not electric. Electricity is vibration. Electricity is this frequency, right? It's manipulated. And by the way, you can actually get a frequency modulator to tune the frequency of the power coming in your house or your business, and it will save you up to 50%. I don't sell the equipment. I've installed it a million times on a million buildings, a million homes. But I will tell you, there's a frequency modulation pack you can put on your house to clean up the static out of electricity.
That's amazing.
Electricity has static, so it doesn't heat in the same way. But if you have a gas furnace or you have a wood burning furnace, you've been in a house or in a place where you feel a fireplace. It's like, man, it feels warm in here. You guys, what? Wow, I just got the fireplace going. And it just feels different because it is.
It is for sure.
It is.
It is versus electric.
Yeah.
Sure. For sure. Well, awesome sauce.
Yeah.
My gosh. So how do you want to land this plane, Mr. Jim?
Okay, I want to make sure that we have we got your event coming up in May, the beginning of May. And how do they find that website?
They go to katy-huffcom/events and you will get it. So katy-huffcom/events. And
And
then
then we
fill
got
out that little form.
yeah,
And I
sorry.
call you. And then we discuss if you want a riverfront property for the 4 days, you want the canyon property, or you want the glacier property.
Wow.
And there are 3 different levels, and it's just an incredible rebirth, if you will, recharge, revitalize, and thrive in 2025.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
And we have partner up with Katie at Silly Gnome. That's
Yes.
PSILLYGNOME.com. And I didn't actually do the words, so don't try to see if I did it. But or the letters. But if you go to sillygnome.com and at checkout, you can put in Katie's code, and she's going to get you guys are going to get $4 off, and then she's going to get $4 as well. To help support the show. So everything you think about, like the discount you're getting, she's also getting that in the backside. So Katie, what is your promo code for the Silly Gnome mushrooms?
Unmasked, which
Unmasked.
MASKED, which is my book, Unmasked, that I wrote.
So UNMASKED, right?
No, SKED. Yep.
Oh, SK, yeah, SKED, masked.
Unmasked.
Yep. So like the old mask that we had that everybody thought was going to save their lives, and
Yep.
then it didn't, that whole thing.
That's why it's unmasked, not mask up. It's unmasked.
Yeah, we're not in the right state for that. California, there you go. Uh, so yeah, go to sillygnome.com, and on your checkout, if you want to go ahead and put that unmask in the promo code, you're going to get that discount. So Katie gets credit for it, and she'll be able to help boost her ministries and doing the things she wants to do. And Silly Gnome loves being a part of that. So thank you actually for being a part of that. It's awesome that you are a part of the family. Thank you.
Oh, well, I am very blessed and grateful to have you in my life, and I'm feeling better every day by taking my mushrooms, and everyone should be taking them because it's the best thing that'll be for you to feel better and have lots of healing and who doesn't want to have it.
Yeah. We're also coming out with cordyceps. So we just launched the cordyceps last week, and I'm not sure where this will air, but we'll have cordyceps. Cordyceps create nitrous oxide and hyperoxygenation of the blood. So it really brings in a lot of oxygen in there, and that's where cancer, abnormal cells don't like to be. But it goes in the walls of the vascular system and creates the nitrous oxide in there that allows the vascular walls to expand and retract depending on what your blood pressure needs, which means you're going to have better heart health, you're going to have better oxygen flow, you have better healing, and all those things. So cordyceps, we brought those on as well. So we have the 4-pack, and Katie and her husband are big proponents of this. They've been loving their mushrooms. So you have the lion's mane, which is the top, the crown chakra, you think of things. You have the reishi, which is the third eye, and they've actually scientifically proven that the third eye actually has a vibration to it. And the reishi decalcifies it, gets any type of fluoride or any type of calcifications on there and breaks it away. So the reishi helps with eye health, brain health, but also the third eye, and lets you. They've actually shown in clinical studies that people put this in their own notes without being asked this question. When I pray, I feel my God listens to me on reishi. Just having the reishi in their system, they feel like there's a better communication with their creator. But then you got turkey tail, which is abnormal cells, cancer cells, organ nutrition, and that goes in. I always talk about the heart of things, right? That's where you go in there and get rid of those abnormal cells. Then the chaga, the bottom, the root chakra, the bottom of around your belt line, well, that comes in and recreates the microbiome in your body. So it starves out the bad microbiome, the gunky stuff that we don't want in there that causes gas and bloating, but we actually bring in the good microbiome and elevate that. And so we starve out the bad, bring in the good, and every one of these are adaptogenic. The word adaptogenic is a scientific phrase that means they turn themselves into what your body needs. So me and Kate can take, mushrooms out of the same exact bottle. She puts it in her body. I put it in mine. What it does for me is special to me because it knows what I need, and what it does for her, and it does for her is special to her because it knows what she needs. That is the brilliance of a mushroom. You're more bioidentical to a mushroom in the DNA of things than you are an ape. A lot of times, sorry about that. A lot of times in the apes, they'll say, well, they're your cousins. Well, a mushroom's like your twin sister, twin brother. They were right there with you the whole time, and we just didn't realize it.
Awesome. It's so good. I'm telling you, you're going to feel a difference in a very short period of time, and you're never going to want to get off of it either. It's something forever. It's very important. So I am just so grateful and thankful, Mr. Jim Price at the Jim Price Show. And again, you need to follow Katie Huff Ministries on all of the different platforms, from Facebook to YouTube to Instagram to Rumble and X, all of them. This is great information. We want to empower you to be, do, and have all that you can be. So thank you again for being on Katie Huff Ministries. God bless you.
Thank you.
My name is Katie Huff Mortensen, and my ministry is Katie Huff Ministries out of Lolo, Montana. Unfortunately, women in general, a lot of times will have self-betrayal and shame and settling in their careers or in their relationships. And so I am in the process of helping them to be, do, and have all God created them to be, and to set themselves free from whatever is holding them back.
My wife went to her women's retreat and she came back a different woman. She had so much more confidence.
I would say in general, they do not see or recognize how they're worth. They're worthy of it all, and they've been, beat down from a career or a relationship or family relationships, or they're just shouldering so much of the past is one big thing. And then the other thing is not realizing who they are in the eyes of Christ, that they are forgiven, they are loved unconditionally, that there are no mistakes, there's only lessons, and that God's plan is so perfect. And so they go from walking in clay not sure, a little depressed, sad, feeling terrible about their past and being stuck and not moving forward, knowing that there's something much bigger for them in the future.
I had the wonderful chance to meet Katie when I went to a conference, and the first thing I noticed about her is she had an amazing energy.
Well, great people like the women that have come in the past and continue to come is that they are coming because they know that there is light at the end of their struggle.
She's an awesome leader, a mentor.
I have seen over the last 14 years of doing this, women come in broken and they are sad and depressed, frustrated, and they walk out smiling. They've had a breakthrough of what they can be, do, and have.
Attend her retreat and you will never be the same.
I have known Katie Huff Mortensen for about 16 years, and she is just an amazing leader.
It is pretty incredible. It's in Paradise, Montana, and that's not by chance. It's an absolutely gorgeous surrounding. There's a hot springs there that women can relax in between sessions. They can have their cup of coffee in the morning in the hot springs. We have breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and the food is incredible. We are in a Camp Bighorn is the name of the location, and it is a Christian campsite. We have 2 sessions in the morning, we have 1 in the afternoon, and then this past year we actually did a ropes course where it was suspending ourselves and getting over fear, which was a huge stretch of your courage to be set free. And in this fall of last year, we actually went floating down the river in rafts as an excursion. We have the Bison Refuge as another excursion. So there's a big mix of, education and support and sessions followed by outings and relaxation, great food, great camaraderie, sisterhood, where people feel very safe and they have major breakthroughs. They can buy tickets at Eventbrite under Katie-Huff Ministries. So katy-huff.com is the website that they can go to get more information. So Katie-Huff, HUFF.com on my website, and they can see where it says events. And the cost depends on their lodging in the sense that they have 3 different tiers of lodging. They can be on the river, and that is the best view. You're on the river. The second one is in a cabin with 2 queen beds, and then a third option. So the rooming is the difference between anywhere from $1,500 to $2,000 for those 4 days. And it includes everything in the food and the adventures and the lodging. I want you to go to katy-huff.com/events and fill out the form so I can call you and lead you from where you are today to the event in May 4th through the 7th, 2025 in Paradise, Montana, which is an incredible location where you will be set free to live your best life ever.